Hey there, train men, women, children of all ages. This is Kenny, the Madman, at Lionel for Less. Hope everybody's doing good today. Finally, we got summer, it looks like. I don't know if you caught my last video. I was testing out a 736 that I had picked up at York on the cheap for 80 bucks with a tender, and the wheels were locked up on it. And this is another exactly the same chassis as the other one. There is no difference between the 736 and 746 that I know of. They're both Berkshires. They both have magnet traction properties. This one lacks a motor because I stole the motor out of this one to a Fix-It Customers train that I had. He had a MPC era 611. Okay, now there's that drive gear. That's where the motor, the gear on the end of the motor hits that and she moves. Now the problem with the other one was these two things here, these two little pins, I guess I will call them. The motor has a slot on each side where those go, and it's supposed to fit in there, but after, you know, years and years of not running, you know, some were built on a Monday, some were built on a Wednesday, and people were in a better mood. I don't know, maybe the die was different temperature that day or something, who knows. But anyway, this is getting to see here the bare bones of it. This is your pickup wire running down to the rollers. I'm sure most of you guys know this, but I'm explaining it. I've got a lot of new people on my channel too, which is mainly why I do this, because, you know, you guys who know what you're doing, you could probably tell me a lot of things, and I sure would like to learn. That's why I do these videos, because no one showed me anything when I first started. So I had to learn of the Greenberg and trial and mostly error. Okay, so what was stopping the 736 was when that motor gets bound up like that, it goes down into two screws, and you have to tighten the screws. And you know, you can tighten the shit out of them, and then it'll be too tight, but yet we do have to tighten them fairly tight so we don't have movement, you know, say 2 months down the road or 3 months. And these are the washers that I got from the train tender. There's two different sizes of them, and if you look in the Greenberg repair manual, it will tell you specifically. It doesn't tell you many things specifically, but on this engine it does say if you have trouble with this, you know, take a washer, and some of this stuff is very small. Just think if you were doing HO or something, or N, and you set one on each side. And then you try put the motor back on, put the screws back in. And before you go to put it on the track, you know, take it on your surface, move it backwards and forwards, see how it feels. If you're already bound up, you know that you probably got to try the second thinner washer. You may take two of them. It all depends, I think, on how much the loco was ran. And that's about it, I think, what it counts on. But that right there is what stopped that train. I mean, the guy thought the motor was locked up and seized. You know, and since he threw the tender in, I says, oh, 80 bucks, you know. You could probably get 80 for the tender at the right place. Right time. Anyway, also, you know, what I did on that was shined all these drive rods up. Now you see these ones are particularly bad because some bozo has shot them with silver paint right there. Okay, so we may have to get a new drive rod there or wet sand that shit off right there, which is probably what I'll do, is use the original part and just wet sand that shit off. And we always have the option with that piece, I believe, of just flipping it over. But you see how they look before you start. You know, there's gunk and shit all over them. This is the smoke lever that goes up and down and puffs the smoke out. There's a little piece, looks like a small can or something. It's not even, no cans that small, like a thimble. And it goes up into the smoke unit. There's one hole inside of the smoke unit, and this pushes the air up out. Poof, you got your puff of smoke. What I usually do on them too, I haven't done it to the 736 yet, is I take that hole inside of the smoke unit and make it a little bit bigger, so it will have be able to push more air out. But anyway, yeah, I'm still going through parts over here, trying to see, you know, what I need to make a full engine. Oh, I'm wishing I wouldn't have used that motor. I do got an MPC motor. Cause, you know, I told the dude, you can have the post-war motor, but you'll trade me the MPC motor and some money. I just saw one of these on eBay for new old stock, 59 bucks, and before I could get it, it was gone, man. It was only on there like a day. and I thought about it too long, and boom, it was gone. Often too, you may have to throw a shim right here in the middle. You know, like it'll be under the motor, so it'll stay tight. I haven't seen that happen much, but I have took apart ones that had it like that. Yes, this is what's nice about ordering from this guy at the Train Tender. You get all your parts, they're all individually sealed up. You know what you're getting, so you can get them to your now these are springs and brushes for the tenders, which over this holiday weekend sometime I'm going to try to service that tender live, or well, I do everything live, but I just, you know, record it. I need to learn how to do that live thing. And you know, I'll be making another parts list because I got a lot of post-war stuff around here that needs this or that, and I could have engines. There's brushes for engines, F3s that work in this one, most engines. The 622-121, that's right out of the Greenberg repair manual. I'll give you an idea. This is what it looks like. Now mine's beat up and abused, but you know, it hasn't came unbound yet. That's the name of it right there. Greenberg's Repair and Operating Manual for Lionel Trains. And I'm not sure what that might be a 736 on the front there. 726 perhaps. I believe 736 has magnet traction, 726 does not, but 726 is more desirable because it's got a very, very smooth running ball to wind motor. Okay, and you look in the front and everything's indexed by the engine number. See what I mean? 726, 685, 675. There's a 671. Okay, so we're getting close. 726, 7336, 746. Page 89. There's the page that I opened the most for the Santa Fe's. And this is how easy it is, folks. If I can do it, anybody can. It gives you the wiring diagram of how to hook it up to the motor. That's everything right there. It's pretty easy to understand. Once you do one, you'll know it. You know, these are obviously the wires coming off the top of your motor, and they meet the E-unit fingers. Well, they come off the E-unit fingers and go, you know, to the each side goes to the brushes. One goes to the field. I mean, you don't get no easier than that. Yellow wires to brushes, green wires to field. But by this time, you know, the wiring may have been replaced. And then the little thing on the side of the E-unit is where you can tap in the power, where the handle is. You'll see it. And that's where you know, you run your light bulb. You need a high temperature wire for your smoke unit. And every engine has a diagram like that. And there's what I just said right there. After repairing the locomotive motor or driving worm gear, make sure to obtain proper mesh between the worm of the motor shaft and the worm wheel. Too tight a mesh will cause binding, and that's what we had on this one. That's why I got it cheap. Too shallow or too loose of a mesh will result in undue wear of the worm wheel teeth down inside of here. And then you got a mess if you start stripping those. To obtain proper mesh, shim washer should be used between the motor and the mounting studs. Okay, that's what they are. Not pins, mounting studs. First try this one, then try that one. You know, it just gives you little hints like that they know are the most common problems. You'll have all your part numbers in here for everything. See the shim washer? There's the part number. You would call the parts place a train tender or your favorite parts place. Give them that number. Don't know what you're talking about. And believe me, on these engines, every piece is needed. If you wind up with extra parts, you've done something wrong. Because if Lionel could have saved a penny, they did. You know, it was a business, and they sold millions of these trains. So, penny here, penny there, 5 cents here, 5 cents there, times a million, really adds up. You get a good diagram of your motor. There's your brush put in. I just showed you that matching number, 622-121. And you know, if you're just starting out, don't worry about this putting the armatures and all that in yet. You know, get your basic repair done. Clean the face of the commutator. Take a toothpick in between the segments. Your CRC electric spray. Clean those out. See, and that's what I forgot to get, is that little spring that goes between this and the little thimble that pushes up the air. It just makes it quieter is what it does. So I'll get one of those. I forgot to order that. And number 746, you will see it's telling you that it's sometimes has trouble going through the super old switches, but that's the same identical chassis, same identical setup, except over here for the first time Lionel used a liquid smoke unit. They'll be red if they're the original ones. Shows all your valve gears in that if you're missing some of those. rear trucks. Right down to this. And you need these exact size screws. Don't try to fix a local that's missing screws and not have the right size screw. You can get a hold of Len Carpelli, and he bought Ted the Screwman's business, and I never got to meet Ted the Screwman. And you can get all those size screws from Len Carpelli. He also does great restoration work. The suggested price of this was $24.95. And of course, it's the Kallenbach books. Okay, so there's been some people asking me about what's the Greenberg, So that little thing there, without boring people, I turned you on to something there. I've got stuff marked, I didn't know how to fix this 151 semaphore. Now I do, thanks to this. But look at all that text. It's only if MTH had a book like this, we'd all be happy. That's for sure. But they didn't put out something like this, which is unfortunate, to say the least. To say the least, it is unfortunate. Here's the F3s. Like I was saying, those motors that lay on the side, those are the early ones there. Then they just changed the brush cover. That's all. And that little spring has got to be under that motor. Most guys don't want to tell you this stuff because they want to try to make money off you. And if you don't know this trick here with the 2-3-4-3s, you'll never get that coupler and drawbar out of there. You have to pull it up that way, then move it over there. And it has to be done in that sequence. And after this, they made these wider. And then they, you could get them out real easy then. I think on the 2-3-5-3s. Because this was such a headache for people to get that out. Every part is needed. If you don't have it, God bless you, but you'll probably have a short somewhere when you go to fire everything up. And it goes on and on. There's the New Haven rectifier. And like I said, you just tell the parts guy these numbers. If you're missing something, say, oh man, I need some brushes. Well, these were a little bit different for the first year on the 2-3-3-3s before magnet traction. I think only 1 year or 2 was it. I'll let you know about that, but it's not more than 2 that they were out. And then in 1950, on the 50th anniversary of the company, they introduced magnet traction. And the 773 was the star of the show. And those were around $100, 773s. And I think more people got Santa Fe's with passenger cars for $100 than they did the 773s. created the gap there. But you can polish all this stuff up. You know, half of that, most of that will come off with some of this mothers. So I hope that helps somebody out. It's like I said, when I was starting, no one would help me. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know guys. There was not, I don't think, maybe the forum was just starting, but I didn't know nothing about it. The Whole Gauger forum's a good place to ask questions. Now, if you get stuck, or, you know, not even if you're stuck, if you just wonder how you should start. There's all the info for the train tender. I am not getting paid or endorsement or price break or anything like that. I just am happy with the service the guy provides. You tell him what you want, he mails it to you, you mail him a check, and if you screw him over, you never get nothing again. I mean, who does business like that anymore? So, you know, he's putting trust in you right off the bat. It just never stops. The sheriff and outlaw car shows the mechanism that makes the men go up and down. Same with the giraffe car. And two, you know, all the parts came in this neat little box. And I said what more impressed me was how everything is just numbered and separate. You just cut it, put it in your parts bin. That way you know where everything is. That's what we're in the process of here doing. Got the Empire State Express. Should be running over here in another day or two at the most. I got the Z4000 on the way. And I've always been wanting one, so I mean, if you run the TIU and the remote and TCS, you know, the Z4000 is not a bad thing to have. You see how I had it wired up over there trying to make it work, but some guy on the forum did tell me how to do it though, so I really didn't have to get that, but I could use the extra power anyway. Alright, I'm going to make a small video here of the 746. Again, pulling some cars. It does need to run. I don't have much time tonight. Got to get back to work tomorrow. Got a big day at work. So after this, if you want to just check out a run, I'll have that on there. Don't forget, that's your most valuable thing, I say. You can spray it on things, it cleans things. That's what I was talking about, shooting the E-unit. You put this into the E-unit and shoot it. Cycle the E-unit a few times. Shoot it again. I'll show how to do that. And you see, like, it'll sometimes go backwards, forwards, backwards, forwards, you know, for 2 to 5 minutes, and then it'll take off and everything's kosher. Alright.